A very pleasant good afternoon and welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio and Facebook Live. So glad to have you guys tune in. Please continue to share our program so, our viewers and other people can, listen to our conversation and it could add meaning to their lives. Next to me to my right, is the beautiful Zora Anderson. And you know what? I really wanted to talk to Zora a long time ago. Long before I started this radio show, she have impressed me in so many ways, and you will hear in how she did this. Zora is dedicated to helping people, clients by fear, mental health disorder, people who suffer from addiction, legal issue. She facilitates groups to empower, educate, and teach new techniques which enable them to live a better life. And she restores hope, new attitude, and behavior for healthy living in today's society. Also, Zora, what I want to tell you guys, Zora, she suffered a stroke many years ago and actually was not able to talk or do anything for 4 months. She was bedridden. She have a very interesting story. She went on to do her KSAC training, and then she did her associate degree. And after that, she went on and do her bachelor's degree. And I'm certainly sure that sometime in the future that she will continue her education. She is not stopping. A really good story. So, Zora, I want to say welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. What an honor.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Good to have you guys. She have a very interesting story, and I'm sure it's going to help some of you. As I said, she had a stroke, and despite she had a stroke, she did not let her disability stop her in any way. She is also a woman of God. She has strong faith. And, I know her many years ago, as I said. We used to work together at Faith Mission Alcohol Crisis Center for some time. But you know what? She was always supportive to me in my nursing career at Faith Mission. I'm still there, but she is at somewhere else. Despite sometimes she would be off and she would come in to help answer the phone while I was there because I'm by myself. And I really did appreciate and still do appreciate all the help that she is doing. So we're going to get another song. And when we come back, we will jump right into the conversation with Zora Anderson. She is an alcohol counselor here in New York City. Right, Zora?
Yes.
So keep sharing the page, guys. You are listening to the Ken Rampersaud Show, ladies and gentlemen. I am so glad to have Leela Lidar, Mary Ann Lou, all the way from Canada. Selecta Abid, thank you very much for tuning in. Jamir Mohammed, thank you for tuning in. Linda Singh, thank you very much. Geeta Singh, thank you so much. Bibi Amina, thank you so much. Geeta Singh. Let's see, I've got a lot of Singh here. Sherry Sukram, Nalo Kishore Gopal, thank you very much. My good friend, my bird friend, Louis Cordero, thank you for tuning in. You are waving, thank you. Annette Dheeraj, Hasino Bano, all the way from Canada. Shalini Ramutar, thank you very much for tuning in. Nayan Chunilal watching from Guyana. And we have the young man Aditya Kedarnath listening. And I see Lisa, thank you so much for tuning in. And I know that you lose someone very special to you. A couple of days ago, on behalf of the Ken Rampersaud Show, I would like to extend to you my deepest sympathy. I hope that you find some comfort knowing that others care about you. My good friend Debbie Sanyasi, thank you very much for tuning in. Rajiv Nandalal, he is in studio. We are glad to have him on. Let's go with another song. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad to have all of you on Locked On. I know tonight is Super Bowl night, so I was wondering to know if we should have this show or not. But I'm so glad to see that you guys tune in. Bibi Hack, thank you so much. Jean Singh, Maureen Ramcharan, thank you very much for tuning in. My good friend John Namat, all the way from Suriname, thank you very much for tuning in. Nelson Salgado, thank you very much, my brother, for tuning in. Umawati Kalicharan Bridge. Bridge Band, thank you very much for tuning in. Let's see, Shalini Prasad, thank you so much for tuning in. Sissy McBill, thank you so much. Juliet Singh, from watching all the way from Canada. I'm so glad that you tuned in. Salima Prasad, thank you very much for watching the Ken Rampersaud Show. So let's talk. We were going to talk about now, Zora, you are in recovery 10 years no, so just to let you guys know. But what was your childhood like?
Okay, first and foremost, let's be clear. Like, I didn't know that then, but I know that today. Education does give you wisdom. So what I learned is that I come from a dysfunctional family. I come from a single parent home. My mother raised 4 boys and 1 girl. I was the youngest. And so I've seen a lot of things. A lot of things was inappropriate, but I didn't know it was inappropriate because my mother was a very private person, and she taught us what happens in my house happens in my house. It's nobody else's business. So you didn't go and talk to guidance counselors and stuff like that. So I had to process it with my own child mind, and I had to endure a lot of uncomfortable feelings. It was not nice, but it made me have bad choices because it teaches deception, and when you live in deception, it's not the truth. That's what I can say today. So I have great memories. I have some really beautiful memories, and I have some very sad memories.
Right.
But because of counselors and social workers, they helped me grow through my process. So, I'm kind of honored to their profession, healing people, helping people. It's the best. Hands-on healing is the very best, so.
Well, it's not how you start the journey, actually, is where you end up. And I'm so, like I said before, I am so proud of you, of where you are. Despite it was challenging for you, you are here now as a counselor. You have your bachelor's, and I know that you're going to do your master sometime in the near future. And what surprises me, guys, is that, like I said, she used to work with me. We worked together, actually. I was the nurse, she was the counselor. And she used to come in the nurse's station, and I always play with her because I love her, and she's very articulate and very smart. Right, Zora? You remember those days, and I used to tell her, you know what? I make her laugh, and I used to pretend to her, like I said way before this, that I would be a radio announcer one day, or this is what I really want to do sometime, right?
Well, see, it goes like this. Like, one thing I have to say, Mama Sa, I was floored at my first meeting, because you were a person who had a lot of love.
Thank you.
You can't imitate love. It has to be genuine, So, your wife will cook a meal and you send you off to work, and here you come, and you want to share your food. And I'm saying, okay, I was going to go out to lunch, but, then I started tasting spicy stuff, and I was like, I can't eat that, Mama. It's too spicy for me. But, the love that you would display, and then, invite me to your home, and we've been through so many things together in these last 7 years. But one thing I stood out the most was the fact that you told me your story of how you came. And I said, wait a second, because, a lot of people come to America. I've been here my whole life.
Right.
So, he was like, my mother wanted me to come to America, be a citizen, be a nurse, go to school, and she spent $10,000 to do that. So I'm saying, I said, who does that? And then next thing I know, you told me the story about how you had got caught, you had to be brought back, and then you had to spend another $10,000, you had to raise another $10,000 just to come back. But I wouldn't even been like, who comes back a second time after you go through that deportation? So I'm saying to myself, this man is amazing. You just telling the story, and then the sadness of how your mother wanted you here, and then in her passing, and you couldn't go and be there. I was like, what? That would have broke me, And your first marriage. I mean, I'm just telling all your business, but I'm just saying.
I always keep that
story is so real. you can't write that. I mean, I'm amazed. And like, you know, your heart was broken and you have been through so much. I'm saying, oh my God, it's hard, it's tearing apart. And then the next thing I find out, I said, you tell me about this beautiful woman that you met, and you know, you knew her prior, and then next thing you know, y'all going out, and now you got two beautiful children that call me auntie. How
Right.
about that? I mean, like, I said, these little boys don't even know me, but they have no prejudice. That's when you know love is there, because God is not prejudiced.
Right.
Our Creator is not prejudiced, because He created all of us. So that's just the beauty of walking in your home. All of your family is always around, such love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, animals, how you just bestow such beautiful blessings on your wife. And I sit back and I just watch and I pay attention. So I can just think back when we used to be joking around in the office and you just pick up a pen and you'll say, you go through your little spiel, talk about Dr. Love, and I said, wait a second, he gonna be a radio now. I said, well, I'm sorry, you need to do that for real. You got the voice. I said, call that thing into existence. Here we sit on a radio show 7 years later. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, like the number 7 in the spiritual realm is completion.
Well, yes. You know, like I always tell you, you know, you call the shots where you want in life. Yes, John. I always like to share my food when I go to work, especially, you know, for those people who live in the United States who have never eaten our Guyanese food. But Zora, in terms of your education, I know that you didn't do a lot of education when you were younger. Now you are on fire going to school, and no, you're not stopping.
I did go to school.
You did.
Like I graduated on time. I graduated Regents, you know. Then I went straight to college. I went to Old Westbury, as a matter of fact. I think I was going to be in urban studies was my major. I wanted to do like urban renewal, stuff like that, help people. Same thing is still in the helping business.
Right.
You know, but I wanted to make sure people had a place to stay. Because there's so many people that's homeless, and it should not be so.
Right.
You know, so that breaks my heart. Like, if you even just think about New York, there's a whole city under the subway. People live under the subway.
Right.
Like, we don't count those people, but they count.
That's right. They're counted.
You know, they count. Like, what is going on right now? So, you know, that's in my mind. But you know what? I lived a horrific experience. Can't tell you it was nice, you know. I try to tell my clients, I try to explain it and educate them, you know, with the greatest of empathy, because I live that, you know. I know what that's about. I understand them, like, I understand them. I understand their denial. I understand their suffering. I understand their agitation to try to move forward. I understand their stages of change. And I watch them try to, they want it, but they don't know how to get it. You know, that's one thing. And we can't say, I'm here, Rampersaud. I can't hand them recovery. I can't hand them that. But, you know, and they say, this is repetitious. I can't get tired of listening to it. But the thing is this. When you're dealing with an individual, the whole being, you know, they're focused on client-centeredness today, which is so important because the client is a whole person. Their ideals may be, they may not be able to achieve them right now, but they can absolutely do it. Like you said, you want to be a radio show host, and look, here you are. It don't happen overnight. See, the thing is that they want what they want when they want it. So my experience was living in poverty. That's what exactly it is. It's called poverty. And my mom received welfare, like, you know. It was sad. It was sad to look back on, to know that, like, but my mother gave us the best of everything. She wanted us to be outgoing. I was a Girl Scout, and I traveled, and I went camping. I mean, I had a beautiful childhood. It wasn't like I didn't. But, you know, the reality of it all is that when I think about all that I've been through, it's like marijuana. Let me say that. That's like a gateway drug. People hear that a lot, right?
Right.
And a lot of people say, oh, you know, we socializing, I drink a little. Alcohol is a legal drug, you know? So people don't call alcohol a drug, though. they don't identify with that. They look at drugs. We hear that word drugs. They think about narcotics. So alcohol is a drug, and it's a legal drug, and it's easy access, and that's why we see so many people that are alcoholic in nature, and they're sleeping on sidewalks and park benches and under the train station and all these things that we can see with our visible eye, but we don't know the why of it.
Right.
Okay? So that's what I suffered from, beside. I suffered the not knowing the why. Mm-hmm. And it was my education. Let me say this. Let's put it in a nutshell, okay? June 4, 2008, I had a stroke.
Okay. We're gonna play some music, and when we come back, we will talk to Zora about her stroke, mm-hmm. and what happened to her, how she found out she had a stroke, and the challenges. And like I said, she went on and did a lot of things for herself. So let's get to some music. When we come back, we'll talk about Zora and her stroke and her disability. All right, let's go.
Would you believe me if I told you? Will you believe me when I say affairs of the heart, together we've grown, if ever apart. All I want you to know is your love is life-changing, and I couldn't be the same without you, darling. Your love is life-saving. You always catch me when I fall. When the tour bus drop off and all light lock off, and I'm a mere mortal again. Promoter belly full and all the fans gone home. I'm glad that you're more than a friend. And when your love is life-changing, and I couldn't be the same without you, darling. Your love is life-saving. You always catch me when I fall. There's people just like you and me, we pass them in the traffic, that never fall in love, and some may have it, say me lucky. Enough of them not fortunate enough to have somebody. Some just cannot see beyond the flesh, and it's so funny. Never get too caught up in yourself to feel the magic. True love come and pass you by in life, it is so tragic. Opportunities, don't worry about a thing.
You are listening to the Ken Rampersaud Show.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Freely the birds, it's by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Saying, this is
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the Ken Rampersaud Show. You know what? I'm talking to my guest, Zora Anderson. We've worked together before. And you know what inspired me is that Zora had a stroke, and despite her stroke, she did not let that stop her. She went on to get 3 degrees. And so, Zora, let's talk about your stroke. How long now you had your stroke?
Okay, I had my stroke on June 4th, 2008. And, well, it wasn't my stroke, so I just want to say that I learned in my history of being a Christian, I just learned that, I know where sickness comes from. But it was so funny because I woke up 3 times. God woke me up 3 times. And, by the 3rd time, he said, you got to text your landlord. I said, wait a second, I got to text my landlord. And so I had just learned 2 weeks prior how to text. Mm-hmm. Right, in 2008. This is like a fairly new technology. Everybody thinks it's been going on for a long time, but it hasn't. So I text my landlord, and he busted through he came to my apartment in my room, and he said, "You're not going to die in my house." And I said, "Well, I didn't think I'm dying." So, of course, I talked to God, and I said, "Lord, this don't make no sense. I don't know what's happening to me." But I felt the strength leaving my body,
Wow.
So they had called EMS, and they came in, and they said, "Miss Anderson, you had suffering a stroke." Excuse me. So at the time, I was kind of happy.
You're happy you get a stroke?
No, listen, I was like kind of happy that I knew what was wrong.
Right.
It's always good to be aware. When you don't know, when you're in the dark, it's very tormenting.
Right.
But I knew what they said, and even though I didn't know a lot about strokes, I knew enough to know that it was serious, or could be serious, right? So I just laid in and let them take me away, and I was crying because I was going to be seen by all the people outside of my house, because when they see the ambulance, everybody come and
see.
So I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to be on everybody watching me." So I felt kind of strange, but let me say it was June, so it was before. I was born in July, so it was before my birthday. Mm-hmm. So in that time, I said to myself, let me just go to the hospital and it'll be okay. So I went to the hospital, but when I woke up, I knew I was coming down the hall. And so we're going to take you, Miss Anderson, we're taking you to rehab. Mm-hmm. And I said, why they taking me? My thoughts was like, why they taking me to rehab? But they was taking me to rehab because they knew something I didn't know. Mm-hmm. So when the doctors would come and they would poke and they would probe me, and I would say to myself, that's not making too much sense. And they told me, Miss Anderson, we're not sure if you will ever walk or talk again. Mm. And I immediately became angry. I said, God, this can't be the end. I don't receive this. Mm-hmm. I don't receive this. I said, this can't be the end for me. I'm walking out of here. All I could confess in my heart and mind was, I'm walking out. Now, I would like to tell you that it happened overnight, but it did not. You know what I mean? I had to stay in the hospital. I think the first thing that I was able to do after a couple of weeks was take my right finger, my pointer on my right hand, and I could take and make the bed go up and down. You know how to make the back of it. And I was so excited about that because that's a sign to me. It was enough that the healing is happening right now. Right. And I went to see the doctor. They had me going to physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. And I'll probably be there like 5 or 10 minutes a day. But I went every day because they took me. And I just had hope. That's the only word I can give you. I can say I had hope. I believe God to bless me. And so as I went through this process, I think the first thing was my conversation with God about I could smell the food on the cart. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was lunchtime.
All right.
Now, I like to eat, so I'm just saying. I said, God, they feeding me through a tube. See, this is the thing. I was totally aware of everything going on. I knew who I was. I knew my name. I knew I could walk. I knew I could write. I knew I could do all those things. I knew I had an apartment.
Right.
I said, I got to get out of here. My birthday's coming. That's what I was thinking, but I couldn't say it. And I'll tell you, they one day a doctor came to me and put his mouth to my ear. He said, "I know you want to eat, Miss Anderson." He said, "You think you want to try some puree food?" And of course, I'm trying to shake my head, yes. And it started out with puree foods, and then they had me on a colostomy bag, so they took it off.
Wow.
Right, and so now the nurses got to take me and change me.
Mm-hmm.
What I learned was that I was powerless. That God has all power. Yes, I gotta say that again. My God has all power, and I know that He does. You know, my Creator is what?
Mm-hmm.
I think my relationship to God grew in that moment, that hour, greater than it's ever been. And I love the Lord since I was 4. But I have moved away from God so far.
Mm-hmm.
I have fallen so far.
Yes.
You know, when I was talking about the drugs, like, you know, when you smoke a marijuana with your friends, you're cutting school, and you're having a drink here, you know, buying some beer, or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment, it seems like fun. But you leave from a social status to abuse. And you know, on a daily basis, you're doing this, and you now finding yourself, you cross a fine line, in which is addiction. And you know, when you learn that, it's hard to accept, it's hard to grasp, because most people do this socially. They see their family have a party, they have alcohol and all kinds of things out. People do what they do. But for me, you know, I had to swallow a pill because I argued with God in my own mind and heart many, many years. I said, "God, how am I powerless? You said I could do all things through Christ." Come on, that's what the word say. So I'm just trying to be as honest as I can when I tell my story. Like, you know, it was a difficult process. I went through it, and I think that I made it to the point where I can go up and downstairs with help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can get up there and come back down holding on to the railing that they teach you in rehabilitation.
Right.
But I absolutely saw myself walking with the walker, but I knew I wasn't going to walk with no walker. I said, I had too much pride for all that.
Right.
So you got to know what your defects of character are.
Yes.
So I learned about myself. I learned about I needed somebody.
Yes.
But I have to tell you, I could have never dreamed about the life I have today.
And when we come back, we will talk about the life, the journey of her stroke. So, ladies, as I'm talking here now, our DJ is going to get a song. We are talking to Zora Anderson. She is an alcohol counselor, drug counselor right here in Queens. And yes, she does work with our Guyanese community. Zora love our Guyanese food sometimes.
I love it.
After she finished, she's going to eat some Guyanese food.
Aww.
You know, and the thing is that I love her, and she loved me. She loved my kids too. She is actually a family friend to this house.
Yes.
You know, she always stop by here and there, and I always offer her something to eat.
Always.
You know, always have something for Zora. And anybody come into my house, my home, I always want to have that. Right, Zora?
Such a loving heart.
Thank you.
Such a blessed soul. Blessed man of God. And it's such a beautiful thing, Mama San, because, you know, you taught me so many things over the years, like, you know, how to be still, not to, you know, just how to hold my gut and just be quiet sometimes. Like, it's okay not to say something. So thank you so much for being the man that you are. And I'm so glad your dreams is coming true. And you're so happy in this life. I'm so
yes,
happy
thank
for
you. And, you know, to be honest with you, working with patients, and I've always tell you guys, working with patients who's addicted to drugs and drink and difficult, we work with difficult clients. And I've always tell Zora sometimes, like, would go and, like, say, "Stop, you shouldn't do this." And I would go to her, and I see when she get upset, these guys could push her button. I always call her in the nurse's station. I put her to sit down, and I said, "Zora, you cannot follow these patients tit for tat. You are the professional, and guess what? That's what I expect." And so she listened to me sometime, and that's the beautiful thing. And when you love someone, that's what really happened. Let's go and say, Girlie Prasad, thank you very much for tuning in. She said, "Okay, guys, I'll watch replay because I'm at a viewing." Thank you very much. Rose Harry Narine, thank you so much for watching. Gloria Manik, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your words of encouragement. Lena, thank you for watching. Maureen Ramcharan, thank you very much for watching. And Priya said, "The universe worked for us and not against us." To our good friend Roxanne Walker, thank you very much for tuning in. Bibi Hack, thanks again for watching the show. Let's see who we have. Lena. Let's see. We have Gita Balde all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Priya said, can she talk into the mic? I'm getting her to talk in the mic.
Oh,
She's
sorry.
accustomed to this. And you know what? She is a little shy too because she didn't expect you guys would see her picture. But I am so proud of Zora Anderson for her journey. And you know what? She is not ashamed of her journey. She is holding it by the horn and living. She also is driving. She have her own car and she drives her own. And that's what I admire about her. Despite you have stroke, despite whatever happened to you, you cannot stop. You have to work. DJ, let's go. We are ready.
Start a crime. Remember that girl. Are you alone, me want? I don't want it to end. Hope you can comprehend.
You are listening to Angela Moti from Florida. Yes, and she is from Lenora. And the bedroom bully, Apache Warrior.
We do need to cuss and we don't need to fight. Real thing, man. A girl like you should I live a Bollywood. Me go give you good loving like I know I should. Baby, me go take you to this island of paradise. The two are we alone under the moonlight. Hugging and kissing till the sun shine bright. We don't need to fuss and we don't need to fight. Serious thing, man. Tonight, I'm gonna make you explode like dynamite. Yeah, me serious, baby girl. X amount of loving just can't done.
Well, good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio and Facebook Live. Please continue to share the program. And even after we come off the radio at 7 o'clock tonight, I know you guys could share it and continue to look at it. Let's say, Arjuna Madre, thank you very much, my brother, for tuning in. Teresa Singh, thank you very much for watching the show. Let's see who we have here. Sean Barrett, thank you very much for watching the show. And guys, please continue to share the page. We are talking to Zora Anderson here. Zora went through many challenges in life, and one of the things that really stuck out was she had a stroke and was unable to walk or talk for approximately 4 months. But Zora went on to do great things, and she's doing great things. She drives, she's going to college, and so on. And we'll talk about her colleges in just a minute. So, Zora, after you had this stroke, how was your recovery? Did you have the kind of things to help you move on in life, or the therapy? Did you have the family support to help you move on?
Oh, well, I had loved ones. I had my family. I had my church members. I had my friends in recovery. I had a lot of people. It was like just asking me a lot of questions, but I couldn't talk. So,
yes,
it was for me to know, can I answer these questions? But what I come to find, you said it was 4 months. 4 months for me to come out into a nursing home, right? So then I had to stay at the nursing home, but it took me 5 years to be able to get to a place where I can walk down the street by myself and go to the store and carry a bag, because my equilibrium was off. So it's a lot to learn. I had to learn my body. I had to learn that it's the grace of God that sustains me. Like, I had to change my relationship with God because I use God as a genie. God, just do this for me. If you do this, I make bargains with God, know.
Right.
Yeah, so I knew that I loved him because he chose us from the beginning of time. That's in Ephesians. But trust me, I do know this on today that, the process that I had to go through was difficult. It was difficult because I had to accept it emotionally, physically, psychologically. It was overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And everybody who believed that I would be okay, didn't really believe it. I could see it in their face. I could see it in their eyes,
They were scared for you.
I could see tears in their eyes,
Wow.
They be telling me one thing, but I could read their emotion, And just the nurses in the hospital, in the nursing home. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. When somebody does their service with love, see, this is something, like I said earlier, you can't imitate that because a person might not never remember your name, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Amen to that.
Okay?
Yes.
So as a nurse, you got to experience that. You got to know that when you work with your clients, there's some clients who are not grateful, but we're talking about the clients who are overwhelmed with how you handle them with care when they weren't feeling well. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
how you took time to make the calls, advocate on their behalf. The power that's inside of you that comes alive, that makes you know that your job is, you're not doing your job in vain, and this is your call. I have to do this. I have to help people. Mm-hmm. So this is what you teach me. This is how you taught me through the process by the time I made it to Faith Mission. But I can say this. I can say life's journey in general, we need not take it for granted. This is an intentional life. Everybody is born, and it's intentional for you to have a life of greatness. Mm-hmm. You was talking about it when you were sharing about, when we were talking about the ink pen, when you was talking about, I always want to have a radio station. But here we sit today. It's like, do you believe God for the greatness that he can bring to pass? Regardless of what other people say. Like, when we hear a story of Noah, we say, oh, why would somebody build a boat? Because God told him. But him and his family were saved, and the rest of the world was destroyed by water, right? Yeah. So I just kind of I'm not trying to preach religion because I don't believe. I'm a spiritual woman. I love God. He lives in all of us, But everybody don't honor the God that lives in them. But I seen God bring me out of darkness. I seen God bring me out of the impossible. Something I've never thought would happen. Mm-hmm. I could have never dreamed this. So when I talk about the struggle, I'm all in my mind. I always will pick up a pen and scribble because I'm an artist, you know. I was born, God gave me that gift from birth. And Mama said, girl, stop getting in so much trouble. Go sit in the room and draw. You know, that's what my mother used to tell me. So I've been drawing all my life, and I've blessed a lot of people with my art. You know, and I bless my clients today with my art. You know, I created this group called Creative Expression. I'm proud of that because I know God is He's doing that through me to show me that you still have it. Because I'm still here, you know. So, like, as I went through the process and I had to learn things, I had to learn to be patient. The things I had to learn were spiritual things. I had to learn how to love again. I had to learn how to be honest. I had to learn how to be willing to do things that are hard when somebody tells me no. My doctor said, what? Zora, you want to go where? I said, I need you to sign these papers so I can go to school.
Wow.
And he said, you sure you can go to school? I said, yeah, I'm going to school. Okay.
That's right. And guess what? She went to school. She did her KSAC. You know what tickled me about you, though, Zora? You know, Zora, no, I always talk. I'm always a talker at work and anywhere else. And she came to the nurse's station and she said, Rampersaud, I'm going to go do my KSAC exam. And guess what? I'm going to pass. And that she smiled and she walked out. And you know what? Guess what? When she called me back the next time, she passed the test. Yeah. And I'm like, how this woman always tell me things and whatever she says come to pass. And so that's why even way, you know, what she was telling you guys is that way before I became this talk show host, I used to pretend a lot of times that I am a talk show host.
Yes.
And in front of my friends, them like her, I used to tell her, Zora, this is Mr. Rampersaud reporting for NBC News in New York. And I will do that, and she would crack up,
Dr.
you know what I'm
Love.
saying? Or I'll say, this is Dr. Love, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't thought that this would materialize, to be very honest with you. I was just playing out a dream that I had. But I'm very grateful that this has come, that we can sit down. And like I tell people, this radio show that I have, that I've launched just over a month now, is just to empower people, to let people hear good stories, to help them to know that, you know what, if you fall, you don't have to stay there, that you will get up and you will run. And your story,
Absolutely.
actually, and I always tell Zora, if ever I become a talk show host, I would want you in my studio to talk to you. And like she said, look, for example, we can learn from what she was saying. She said, like, listen, she had a stroke. Despite she had a stroke, she could have heard and see people behavior, how they felt about her. She know when she see they were crying, she know inside of her that, you know what, they're probably seeing something that I don't know about. But like Zora said, you know what, she is the one who called the shots. She was saying that I am going to do better than what's going on.
Getting
I'm
up
going
from
to call
here,
my
I'm
shot.
walking out to this place. And so, you know, like I think in my process, and I wasn't in no pain. I have to say that I wasn't in no pain. And, you know, people don't know that I have to strain to talk, you know what I mean? Like what it is, like it affected the right side of my brain. We talking about people who know about the brain, doctors, you know. I have to tell you, Rampersaud, like, affects your speech, affects the right, left side of my body, you know. It's a hurting thing because I love to dance. I love to sing. Everybody, you know, call me out and they say, oh, sing that song for me, you know. And I sang on the choir 20 years in my church. Like, you know, a lead singer, come on now. I was like, I can, you know, take this. But God asked us to be humble. So I couldn't get so proud about it, you know. And I think that I allowed myself to think that I had the strength to do all the things that I would do. But today I know that it wasn't me. That it was the Almighty God, our great creator. Be it Guyanese, American, African, Jamaican, wherever you might be from, you know. People of color. I speak to everybody. I speak to their spirit to say, like, don't give up. Don't give up. Because, see, one thing I recognize, right? Other people saw greatness in me.
Right.
Other people saw greatness in me. They would tell me about my assets, you know, my humor. They would talk about the love that I bestowed upon them, how I made them feel comfortable or happy, or how I encouraged them. And so I started to feed off of that. But I tell you, as I was going through the process and I was relating to God, he was showing me that I had taken the life he gave me for granted.
That's right, and we will continue. Before we do that, I want to say Auntie Daughter from Lenora passed away in New York. It is so sad that, when we passed away, she is going to Auntie Daughter, and who knows, she is Nancy Daughter from Lenora, Munilal Street, actually. The wake will be held at 116-39, 131 Street. The viewing is tomorrow, Monday, February 3rd, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Burgeon Funeral Home, and the cremation will be held in Queens here at St. Michael's Cemetery tomorrow at between 9:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. So, guys, please support his family. On behalf of the Ken Rampersaud Show, we would like to extend our deepest sympathy. Let's go for music.
Okay.
Buffalo soldier, dreadlock rasta. It was a buffalo soldier in the heart of America, stolen from Africa, brought to America, fighting an arrival, fighting for survival. I mean it when I analyze the stench. To me it takes a lot of sense of the dreadlock rasta. Oh, buffalo soldier, and he was taken from Africa, brought to America, fighting an arrival, fighting for survival. Said he was a buffalo soldier, dreadlock rasta. Buffalo soldier in the heart of America. If you know your history, then you would know where you're coming from. Then you wouldn't have to ask me who the heck you would think I am. I'm just a buffalo soldier in the heart of America, stolen from Africa, brought to America. Said he was fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. Said he was a buffalo soldier in the war for America. Said he, why yo yo, why yo yo yo, why yo 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 yo, why yo yo, why yo yo yo, why yo 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 yo. Buffalo soldier tried into the land. Whoa. Said he gonna run and make him hold a hand. Tried into the land. Yeah, yeah. Said he was a buffalo soldier in the war for America. Buffalo soldier, dreadlock rasta, fighting an arrival, fighting for survival, driven from the mainland to the heart of the Caribbean. Singing, why yo yo, why yo yo yo, why yo 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 yo, why yo yo, why yo yo yo, why yo 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 yo.
A very pleasant good evening to you guys, and thank you for watching the Ken Rampersaud Show. I would like to say happy birthday to my aunt Dolores Sigobin, who is in Hartford City, Connecticut. May God continue to bless and guide you in every way. I see Geeta Rampersad tune in. Thank you very much, my dear. And she's saying good night to Priya Prasad. Thank you, Priya. Sanjay Jainarayan, thank you for watching. Let's see who else we have here. Baby Hack. She said, my dear, God is the greatest. And yes, she is an example. Michael Nalini Naidu, blessings to you, my dear. She is a blessing. You know, for a woman who has suffered a stroke, was in bed for nearly 4 months, she's doing great things. So we will talk. And, you know, it always baffling to me that, you know, Zora, a lot of times, and I've always said this in our home, that, you know, not because you're sick, not because something happened to you, you get a stroke, that means you're going to stop what you're doing and just sit one place all the time. You have defied all of that. You went to school, you got three degrees. So start, Anba, you can tell us how you get your first degree and what was the journey is like.
Well, the journey was like, when I went to my doctor, because what had happened, one time I was in a program. And being in this program, they said, it was an outpatient program, and they said to me, you know, you got to go. I said, what? They said, you've been here 22 months. You need to move on to your...
Oh, my God, yes.
And I said, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, why you going to fix something that's not broke?
Right.
So they said, no, Miss Anderson, that's not how it works. So anyway, one of the interns there came and gave me an application. She said, you would make a great counselor. Fill this out.
Wow.
And send it back. And I did that. But it took me 2 years to absolutely address that because I went through a Great Depression. I went through a Great Depression. I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I still be sitting on the side of my bed by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I used to say to myself, like, just one decision made me have to suffer all these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's something my mother said, girl, you better not do. And I do whatever I want to do. You know, we pay for those things. Not paying attention, not listening, not taking the suggestions. And so I have to tell you, Rampersad, the school was telling me, no, God told me. I was talking to God like I talk to him every morning before my feet hit the floor because he said lay on your bed. You know,
he said
Psalm
that.
63, of course he says it. And I follow the word, and it's telling me, because in my heart I've been reading it since I was 4 years old. But it told me that I had to call the school. Because some girl was telling me, you know, Zora, you living off the state, you know, with SSI or whatever. See, it's so funny that people's opinion, we look for other people's opinion and find a roadmap to where we should go. But God speaks to your heart. You should trust God. See, I think God was forming me then to have a greater and closer relationship to him. Mm-hmm. Him, her, it, she, whatever these people call it. But I know I call my God, my creator, my healer, my redeemer, my savior. He's my king. Mm-hmm. You know, I love God. Yeah, I sure do. And so, like, you know, it was so funny because when I got on the bus and I went to the school, you know, like I said, it took me 5 years to be able to be on my own, catch a bus and carry a bag and, you know, be confident in my walk because I was very insecure about it. Mm-hmm. Because I said, I don't want to be the person with the lamp, you know. I could just see other people in the world. I didn't recognize who I didn't want to be. But God said, humble. He teach me about humility. Mm-hmm. So I go to the school and they say, excuse me, they said, we don't think that will be in the computer at this time because it's been 2 years. I said, well, could you just please check? Mm-hmm. I said, because God sent me here. I know what's in the computer.
All right.
So she said, okay. So she said, have a seat out there, Miss Anderson. I sat out there. And I sat out there and she called me inside, called my name, and I go inside. She said, well, Miss Anderson, take these papers. Could you fill these out, please? Mm-hmm. And I said, sure. And I filled out the papers, and I think that I had such an insecurity because having a stroke is not, it sounds easy, a stroke. It was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It took my strength, it took my ability, something I take for granted, to pick up a fork every day and put it in my mouth to take and lift my leg out of a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, all these things run through my mind every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Other people might not can't see, but I can see it. I can hear it. I know I'm different.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm better. Let me say that. I'm better than I was before because I'm aware today. Okay, Rampersaud?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hear with my spiritual ear, I'm thankful. A lot of people don't like me because I talk about God and they want to look at my faults.
Mm-hmm.
But we all fall short, every last soul on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're under the sun, you're not innocent. Simple as that. So I think I have become, God said he purifies us, We tried in the fire, but we come out like gold. I'm so thankful on the day, that when I came back with the papers and I handed them to the lady, she said, Miss Anderson, you're absolutely in the computer, and you'll be for hearing from us.
Mm-hmm.
I said, thank you. I have a nice day. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail that said, congratulations, Miss Anderson, you have been accepted. So
All right.
I went to school, so I'm in school, and I sat for my tea, and and the first thing I heard one of the advisors say was, we're not giving you a job, we're teaching you a career.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I received that.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you receive. Somebody can say you're ugly, somebody can say you dumb, you don't know nothing, but it's what you receive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because words have power. I have no making no mistake about it.
That's right.
Like, I'm going to be a radio announcer. Steve Harvey said the same thing. I'm going to have my own show.
Mm-hmm.
And that era that he grew up in, nobody didn't believe it. But he did.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you believe in God for.
Mm-hmm.
I said, God, I'm coming out of this as sure as I stand. And so there's so many people that look and say, Zora. But I tell you, it was kind of, I really couldn't walk. I could walk a certain amount of time, but I couldn't stand long periods of time. So I'm talking about waiting for a bus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to get an internship when I finished school as a teen. And then I had to leave one internship that I was there for like 2 months because they closed the facility down.
Wow.
And then I was sent to another facility where I met you at.
All right, baby.
And I'm just saying, like Mama saw,
the
people that I worked with, I was so inspired. I was so elated. I loved being with the people I was with. But see, God was trying to say they're just people.
Right.
Follow the loves or stay on course.
Mm-hmm.
Because we like to feel good. We like to be validated.
Mm-hmm.
And we lose sight of the lesson that God is teaching. But until the lesson is learned, you'll keep going through it.
True story.
But I tell you that when they blessed me, I think I worked there 2 months and they hired me per diem. And then I was spoken into my spirit. Sorry, you're very intelligent. You may write the greatest notes. I think that you should go to college. That's what the director told me.
Mm-hmm.
And the assistant director came and said it to me again. So I knew the word was telling me out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, my word is established. God meant for me to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just playing on the computer and, to register for school. And then I think I told somebody in recovery about it, and they said, girl, I'll write a letter for you.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people that knew me wrote letters for me to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to school and I register, and then I see one of my classmates from when I was in school for my KSAT. And he said, for my KSAT, and he said, listen, I'm here because you know them psych socials we was doing? He said, listen, I'm telling you, I do all of that in school right now. So he said, I'm in the human service program. He said, get your professor, and he said her name. Sherry Ann Best. I said, okay, let me see. So God bless you, Sherry Ann Best. She didn't know that she was being a blessing to me, but I think that when I got in class and she came through the door, the professor was like TBA, to be announced. And she came in and she said, hello, my name is Professor Sherry Ann Best, but I had made a decision in my mind. I said, if the professor comes in here, and her name is Sherry and Beth, I know that it's meant for me
Right.
to do this.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of odds is there that will make her be the professor for this class?
Right.
And sure enough, she came in and she said it, and I was like, oh, and she said, I'm gonna teach you how to get your
K-Sac?
no, I'm gonna teach you how to get your associate's degree,
Mm.
and then get your bachelor's degree, and you can get your master's in a year. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be on this train. So that was my mindset, that I had to get my associate's degree, and you will never know my last semester to get my associate's degree. It's always a battle. It's always a hindrance.
True.
It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
What? And it was like, the struggle was, all of a sudden, my Pell ran out. It says lifetime Pell, but it's not for your lifetime, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I love school. I always went to school, you know what I'm saying? So I guess I used some of my Pell, so I had to take out a loan. But I argued and I struggled, and that's who I was at that time. But I'm honest to say that because, like, listen, I never took nothing on face value because I've been through a lot of stuff. I got to test it by God's word. That's who I am. You know, excuse me for a second.
That's right. This is Zora, and you know what? Sometimes when she finished working, I'll take her home and make sure she get home safe, and and that's why we get so close. I see Janet Hussein. She is on. Thank you very much, Janet. Lena Gita Baldu, thank you very much for tuning in. Yes, Roxanne, nothing keep you back. Zora is something else. God to be glory, and she's always, no matter what, you always hear she talk about God, and you have to get accustomed to that. She's very grateful to God for all the things that she went through. Kali Charan, thank you very much. Naomi Ramdas, my sister. I see Farouk is on. Thank you very much. I see my aunt Delaris Sigubin on again. Mary Lou Ramdani, thank you very much for tuning in. Let's go for another song, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation with my dear friend Zora Anderson.
She said she was a virgin and wanted
Faith Mission.
She said she was a virgin and wanted to get married. She never marry a minister. So he go tax and she go tax and tax up one another. Her milk can't be truly gay, be truly gay, hide my milk can't be truly gay,
Thank you very much, Ryan, for tuning in.
She said she was a virgin and
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. And so we're going to continue this conversation in just a minute. I'm going to ask you guys to, when the show finishes, please share the page. I know not today because today is the football game. So after tonight, just share the page, okay? Zora is having a ball of her time.
Yes,
she was kind
I'm
of
so
shy
excited.
just now, but she is good. So let's continue now with your education.
Yeah, so I just want to say that, like, Mr. My director telling me, oh, Zora, go to college and assistant director, So I got through school, and in that last semester I had to take out a loan. But, my class was biology. And in my mind, I said it's thousands of terms that I got to learn. Mm-hmm. And biology is not, science was never my strong suit. I didn't want to do it. And I said, oh, my God. And I was agitated, and I just had to follow through, and I had to pray, and I cried a lot.
You did.
I was on my knees, Lord God, what is going on? You told me to do this thing. I didn't know I was going to go through all of this. But he said, you might be in deep water, Zora, but you will never drown.
All right, amen.
He said, you will never drown. So, I come into work, I'm at work, and I see you, and you're late. I was catching the bus.
Yeah.
Whatever they asked me to do, I did it. God said, just go. To your service unto me. People had all types of opinions or whatever. They don't know me. Mm-hmm. And then here it is, this man who just met me here in this place, want to give me a ride home. He live right down the street from me. What amazing grace. Like, I could never even think about it. But the love that you bestowed upon me, they have no idea of the greatness that they're listening to. The voice of Ken Rampersaud. Somebody needs to shout for that because I'm excited. Mm-hmm. Meeting your father-in-law and even him. I watched him retire, watching your kids, But, being at work with you whenever I was at work, and then, one time he was to train me how to scream because the nurses did the screening and the intake. And so you trained me for that. Mm-hmm. But I already know how to do it now because you trained me. And the funny thing is I do that now. And
oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I do that now. And it's funny because something, they don't even know my greatest potential. Mm-hmm. But that's okay because I know that God knows me and he sent me there. Mm-hmm. And it's not on other people. But now, as I went through school, I absolutely finished like this. Like, when it was time to take the final for my biology class, the professor said, he called me, and all the students were taking the test. I had my little pencils and stuff. He called me up to the desk, and he was like, Zora, you did great. You did well.
Really?
He said, I'm gonna
that's nice.
he said, I'm going to pass you,
Wow.
He said, you don't even have to take the test. That's my gift to you.
Really?
He didn't even let me take the final.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was so stressed out. I was stressed out because it was just, a struggle. Like, you got to learn how to go through the struggles and trust God. You understand what I'm saying? So this whole thing was a process. But then, I didn't give up because I walked the stage. And as I walked the stage in the graduation, and my family was there. The first in my family to ever graduate college,
Beautiful.
How great is that?
Mm-hmm. And
so God used me to be an example. The drug addict in the family.
Yes.
The black sheep. Come on. All the no's that I heard from my family, God said yes. So just to take it a step further, I went and I just transferred straight to York College. And it was a blessing. And I just finished, So I just finished in December. And yesterday before you called me, I got the degree in the mail. And I was like, wow, this is real. You got your degree. But I look over the things that God has used me to do. Like, I became a keynote speaker, And I went and I shared, and the very program that when I told them when they was going to try and tell me I had to leave, I said, it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. So they called me up because I stayed in contact with them year after year. in my recovery, you know, and they followed me and my counselor and director. And I have to say, they asked me to come be a keynote speaker, transitioning. You know, I had to talk about my life.
Beautiful.
You know, and I'm talking about all these professional people in the room, and it was amazing to me, Rampersaud. And I have to tell you that, like, I got another opportunity 2 years later, right after that, to do another speaking. They said, my girlfriend called me up and she said, Zora, I didn't ask your permission, but I told them, I gave them your name, I gave them your number, I gave them your email, and I told them, like, you know, you're looking for a story. Let Zora come tell her story.
Yes.
But they also want me to bring the word of God. It was called The Hidden Treasures. Right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, God, we are earthen vessels, and there's hidden treasure inside of us. You know? Mm-hmm. You know, God created you, He destined you for greatness. Mm-hmm. And when you was going through the hard times, the growing pains, it was not good. Mm-hmm. You know? But, I mean, when you told me your story, and I will never forget this as long as I live, how you just was honest with me, and you took the time to tell me about how much money was spent, what your mother's dream was, right? She dreamed it. She prayed for that. And look where Rampersaud at.
Actually, my aunt, Dolores Sigobin, she's listening.
Oh, my
she's
goodness.
listening to our show.
Hello, Auntie.
She's the one who brought me to the United States. I'm always grateful for that. And, you know, as we're talking, and you know, a lot of people don't know what I do at work and how I do things. And you know, this is a great opportunity. I always tell people, you know what, and, you know, week after week, I come on the radio and I say, this is what I do. So you and I know, you know, when my wife would give me one bowl of food and I will share it to four or five people.
That's right.
I will share my food with everybody.
Heart is big. Your heart is so big.
Saying? And I would so enjoy it when my colleagues or any friend come around and they could share. And I remember the Bible story when it says if you got 2 fish, share it. Woo-wee. And sometimes when you guys say, Rampersaud, you just bring a little bit food. Why are you sharing out your food? But I always feel good in sharing my food. And like when you came and was working and you knew, you know, I've always, and you know, always helped those who come on the job new. To help what's going on and to make other people's life easier, because we never know. This life is just a gift for a short piece of time, and that's why I do all the things, and that's why I believe that I tell Gita all the time. That's why I'm blessed, because I go out every day of myself. Sometimes I don't have no money, or I take $20 and somebody would say, "Can I borrow $20?" and I will take it and give them that $20. And like you said, you're a spiritual person. I am that kind of a person too, because when I give my $20, I have no other money, but I still survive and I still eat, and so that's why.
Of course you do, because God gonna bless you. Come
on
now.
See,
because your hope is in God.
Yes.
But see, you showed me that through your living, not by what you said, by what you did. You know what I'm saying? You taught me through that way. And the funny thing about it is, like, you know, when I came there, when I first came there, I think Oasis had changed the law, and they said, you know, 2014, you didn't have to get 6,000 hours. You could take your test and then get 6,000 hours. So as soon as I heard that, I took $250 and I paid for the test. I registered for it. And one of the social workers told me, she said, Zora, did you print this off the computer? I said, yes. She said, I tried to take this test and I didn't pass it. I don't think you're ready. You just started. I said, okay. But I didn't argue with her, because the truth needs no defense.
All right.
Let me just say that to the world, that the truth needs no defense. You don't have to tell nobody what you know to be truth. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I believe God told me to act on this new thing that He was doing at Oasis. And so I put it in, I paid for it, I went. And I remember before I went, we was in the bubble in the nurse's station.
Right.
And everybody talking. I'm like, yo, listen, we ain't even got to talk about this because it's already done. It's already done. And I'm declaring it on today, you know. Listen, it's been a long, hard struggle. You know, Marvin Sapp said it best in his song, God favored me. There's many people who talk about me, they lie on me, they make up stories about me. I mean, I can't even untangle some of these things that have happened, but this is what the fact is, that God said it's already done. I'm clear that his work is finished, and so now it's becoming a case that with 2 degrees, right? I am a professional. I am a drug addict with letters behind their name. Who does that but God?
All right. And I remember you lost all the papers and I found them for you.
Yeah,
You
remember?
remember?
Ooh,
You lost
see,
all-
only God said, because everything that concerns you concerns me. And he wouldn't let nobody else find it but you.
I found them papers.
And you came and gave me those papers. You said, so I have something that's very important for you.
Yes.
And so I just have to say that all the people that I sit, I sit in awe of the power of God. I see the beauty in his people, I'm like any other human being. I can get agitated. I can get irritated. I can be emotional, But something, Rampersaud? I guess you might know about this because I just learned about it. It's called sensitive rejection dysphoria. It's people like with ADHD and people with the disease of addiction. Mm-hmm. When they get rejected or disappointed, they suffer a great pain physically, emotionally, psychologically. So I done been through a lot, but it's enough for me to know that everything that I learned, right, and all that you have taught me, because you taught me much in how you move, how you act, how you behave, how you speak, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm certainly not where I was. You understand that?
Yes.
Certainly not where I was.
And one of the things that I always do, and it's funny because sometimes I get cursed out, but so I always take my advice. If I see somebody going out of the way, I always call them and say, listen, you need to behave better than you're behaving. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so glad that sometimes I talk to Zora and she listens to me, or I pull her coat at the side and say, let's talk, Zora.
Yes.
And that's one of the good things that I love about you, that despite whatever, I could chit-chat with you, you know what I'm saying? And you have learned me, as I was driving home today, I was thinking about you and what we'll talk about. And one of the best things that I took away from you is that your love for God and your belief and your faith, because that day in that nurse's station,
unshakable. That's what I call it.
Tell me, listen, I'm going to pass that test. You know I'm going to pass. And when you call me and tell me you passed the test, I could not believe. I always tell my colleague, do not play with Zora. Zora is.
Stop playing.
I said, do not play with Zora. That woman knows somebody. So,
oh boy.
Let's give some shout out Ryan Jeffrey. He's the radio guy. Thank you very much for tuning in. And,
thank you.
Lena said, Zora, God knows you are his child since you are 4 years old, and he always there for you. But she was backslided. Yes, she was, but she made it, and he gives you good whipping to bring you back. You have to work through him with your problems. You know how good he is. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, darling.
Good. God is good, Kenneth, mighty good. Yes, Rosemary, I know you are a godly woman too. And Indra Gupta, thank you very much for tuning in to the Ken Rampersaud Show. Let's see. Mary Ann Lou says, nothing beats prayers in difficult time. And I know that not a lot of people watching tonight, but I do hope that you guys would share it, because I asked Zora to come because I want her to share her story. Here it is, a woman of God who has went through so many things. She did her drugs in the past years. She is in recovery. She suffered a stroke. She could not really do a lot of things for 5 years. She went on and do her CASAC, and then she did her bachelor's and associate degree. So I want you guys to hear the story. Not because you have a diagnosis, that means you're going to stop and don't move on. She is a prime example of what someone could do. Dayo, she is all the way from Barbados. Thank you very much for watching out. Shout out to Ken. Roxanne says, Priya is saying amen to you. And my good friend, I forgot to mention to her, Darla Dandre from Chicago. Thank you very much. I love Darla too. Older woman who is in birds, but you know what? She knows I love her like cooked food.
What did you say the word was?
Which one?
Woo, what no eye has seen and no ear has heard. What God has for me. I received that blessing, my sister. God bless you. God bless you. How great is that? Because I know that to be the facts.
So we'll ask our DJ to play another song, and when we come back, we'll continue this beautiful conversation with the Queen, Zora Anderson.
Oh, blessings to you, Rampersaud.
Is it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So we are coming here with a force. Yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah. And gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored. Then only said the road and me go on with the road. Third form, me say me try a thing. And you know it formed up to be a fire thing. Now up on stage with chronic say I sing. Yeah, see me all diggy soon get the higher ring. Like hello brother, you say I had to shot ya. Saw your poster, spectacular photo. Keep it burning, yes, that's the motto. If me the butter pass through your shot, you can't ball in a life, man. Me have to thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast to the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored. Then only said the road and me go on with it, go on with it. Just show our blessings upon me and send me to tell them a story. Just show our blessings upon me. And that's how I made to give him the glory. I'm delighted. Jano say my passion ignited. Got the music get me excited. I'm coming like a potion. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored. Then only said the road and me go on with the road. Toast, yeah, toast. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored. Then only said the road and me go on with the road. Toast,
Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio and Facebook Live. Guys, I'm going to ask you that you please share this episode of the Ken Rampersaud Show. Here it's a beautiful story with Zora Anderson. You know what? She has fallen so many times in life. She was involved with drugs, so many things. She's on recovery now for a couple of years. She had a stroke. She could not do anything.